Hello, I'm Caroline Marshall, and welcome to Bump to Business Owner, the podcast speaking to mums in business, you. I'll be in conversation with some of the most inspiring women and mothers in enterprise about their journey, how they created their successful businesses alongside raising their children, and what that looks like in work and family life. Hello and welcome to today's episode of Bump to Business Owner. I am your host Caroline Marshall, and today I am back with a little solo mini-sode. I thought I'd pop on and talk about joy because it is the theme of the season, and I'm going to be honest, I am thinking about continuing it into next season. So many reasons for this. I thought, let's do a nice podcast on why I am talking about joy so much and why I think it's so important for mothers to rediscover their joy after my personal experience. But since I have decided to do this, there's been some things that have come out, and one of them being, is mothers to blame and their lack of joy to blame for the drop in us producing children? I had to do a dramatic pause then because I have a lot to say about this. So it's not to do with the rising childcare costs, birth mortality rates, birth trauma rates. It's to do with us not being joyful enough on social media. Actually quite upset me. It was a female founder that's actually said this on LinkedIn, someone with a huge following who I hugely respect. And I'm also aware sometimes she does say some quite controversial things just to, that's who she is, I think. But, that I had to really hold myself back from replying because I just couldn't. I tried to be quite, a joyful person apparently on social media. So the irony of this, I try to be quite a positive person. I might not always be joyful, but I try to be optimistic. And I just felt I couldn't reply with authenticity, being like, really, are we now as mothers getting the blame for being too honest or too lacking of joy? Is that right? On social media. And that's the reason for declining birth rates. I mean, well done us if we have managed to bring that much awareness to how hard motherhood is, that it's literally causing the declining birth rate, but it's not. I mean, we know that. And also, I think it's really kind of also having that awareness that there are echo chambers on social media and you follow people in line with you, and that's how there's awful people out there with really huge online followings. There are huge amounts of influencers pretending everything is perfect in their motherhood and it's full of joy. Huge amounts. They're just not the people I want to follow. And the people who are on the fence about having a child probably aren't following them either, or they might be, and then that pushes them over to have a child, or they follow others that make them think, no, this looks a bit pants. And also unaffordable. Let that be a huge reason that people... Anyway, I ended up contributing to an article on this. It's on Yahoo. I ended up having my comments next to Michelle from Peanuts. That made me feel amazing. So yeah, it was really interesting to see that when I have created a whole theme on this podcast of joy and mothers finding joy and trying to come with this air of optimism, that felt we're being told that it's our fault. Again, another thing, that's our fault. I just can't believe, honestly, I think I just felt a little bit like I just had the biggest eye roll. I actually did get a little bit angry and then stepped away from social media for a couple of days and felt a lot better. So that is where this podcast has taken a turn. But the good news is I'm still going to talk about joy, and that is why I'm still going to continue it, because ultimately the reasons behind this is I started to find a lot of my own joy this year, and I think that's from healing after our NICU journey with our son and how hard I found the early years. And this year I found that things like going to the theatre, spending time with my friends, I was feeling a lot more joy than I had done for a long time. And I think there's a whole host of reasons for that, but also rediscovering bar, which I talk about a lot, dance classes, rediscovering an exercise routine that works for me, an exercise that works for me, going to classes, that brings me huge joy, as being around people and exercising with others. I might not talk to them, but that brings me such joy. And me feeling all that joy away from my children helps me feel more joy when I'm in mothering mode, when I'm in work mode. And that is why I felt it was so important, because maybe we all get joy from motherhood. We know this. Maybe we're not good at portraying this all the time, but that is because we are tired. And also, if I sat here and talked about how amazing, I'm very privileged in a lot of areas with my life, but if I just sat here talking about that, I don't think I'd have a podcast. No one really wants to hear that about all areas of life, just the air of, and I'm also quite anti-toxic positivity. Maybe that's what social media wants from us in order for the birth rate to do better in this country. Sorry, I still can't believe I'm saying that. And that is something that I've been really passionate about. And actually, I tell you what, something I've really discovered I've got a lot of joy from is just relaxing in my own home. And that is actually something overheard in the gym. I'm going to bring another gym story into this. I feel like it's the theme of my life. I get a lot of source of inspiration at the gym these days. Maybe I'm there too much. I shouldn't be there twice a week, maybe. I was in my reformer Pilates class. Killed me, absolute killer that. And there was the gym instructor said, oh, I don't relax, but we don't relax, do we, as women? And I just wanted to say, oh gosh, it was almost with a badge of honor. They had that they don't relax, and I'm just like I'm so anti this as well. I know it's hard to relax for many. I know it's been encouraged in this let's throw back to a previous podcast episode, this toxic hustle culture that mothers shouldn't relax. But I am so pro trying our best to relax. And I found such joy in doing that with reading. I'm reading The Christmas Bookshop at the minute. I am a big chick lit fan. But finding joy from things that I don't have to be reading business books and learning all the time. I should be finding downtime for myself and reading a trashy novel, or just finding time to sit and relax, and encouraging that from my children as well. Because if they have a mother who can relax, who can read, apparently reading is also great to do around your kids, then it makes the whole family better. If we have these moments of joy, that we have these moments of rest, and then we will be joyful in everything, and we will fix. No, I can't say that. I'm not going to say that. But I just wanted to have this space to have a quick chat about it and be like, I'm aware I'm in a space of privilege where I've managed to carve out these moments of joy for me and discover what my joy is again. And I've been speaking to a friend recently who went back to work, very in-person job, adjusting school routine, in the thick of it right now. I describe that as many of us go through or will go through. It's hard to find that when you're in that. And so I think, if anything, from this podcast, if I could just encourage 10 minutes or encourage that thought process to have the courage to go back and try a dance class or go for a run, not for me. Also painting, not for me, but it might be for you. Crafting without your children. That's a good one as well. I'm not into crafting, but I can imagine there's so many that are into crafting and just got in the habit that should be something they do with their children rather than thinking about something they do for themselves as well. I think that is why I want you to try and carve out these moments. Oh, also, I read an article by Oprah on this, and I thought, well, that is a sign I should be talking about this. And other things that she mentions in this is you can strike up conversations with strangers, which, throwback, Mimi Neeklin, go and listen to her episode. Engage with that person. Her tip was to really engage with that person you're getting coffee from, which I totally didn't do today, now I think about it. But I will now make an effort, now I've remembered to do that, to ask them how they are. Make a joy list. That's another one. I think that's a really good idea. I should definitely make a joy list. I'm going to make a joy list and going to fill myself with more joy and talk about it in 2025 so that we can get accused of not having a joyful motherhood experience. Giving back, that definitely sparked me joy. Something I always try to do on my founder journey. I think this is something to always remember, both motherhood and founderhood, that we can give back. While we don't know everything, there's always I saw this, someone said this at a talk, I think it was Emmy Faust from Female Founders Rise. There's always someone like that stage behind you, and they can benefit from your wisdom. And that's so true in both motherhood and business world. And you know what, something else that's given me joy this year is like getting more organized, if that's possible. I say this as my house looks an absolute tip right now, but in theory, it's been a lot better. It's just going through a bad phase, and I think appreciating that bad phase. So I challenge you, this is going to be my ultimate point to this, is I challenge you to 10 minutes to think about your joy, do your joy, if you know what it is, whether that's a YouTube workout. I used to do loads of those in early motherhood. There's a lady called Amy, really good. Google. She's a mum. Amy on YouTube, she used to do really good 10-minute workouts. Or Adrian, most of my friends like her, yoga with Adrian. Or 10 minutes just to express gratitude, because that has, I think, also been the key to really, really helping me find my joy, is starting to have more gratitude. And that's really, really hard when you're in the thick of it, when you're having to heal, and to be able to carve out every day some gratitude. When I still have my NICU trauma, my PTSD from Jasper, my youngest child. So I'm challenging you now to give yourself 10 minutes. And if you can't find 10 minutes, we have a little meditation gift again coming for you soon on behalf of our new podcast sponsor. Got a podcast sponsor. I'm so excited to share that. I will share their details soon, but that is something we have coming soon. Again, is something for you to take 10 minutes for yourself. And I will give you an example. While I'm a big fan of meditation, and I just went away with the girls and I can do half an hour on my own amazingly. I love it if I'm in the right zone. But yesterday I was so stressed. I did my reformer Pilates. I knew I needed to do it, and was so tight on time. I did with Othership, which Rachel from Choreo Kids recommended. It's an app. It's amazing. I did a 10-minute stress one, and it worked. It was so good with the 6 count breathing. I like guided breathing, guided meditation. It really helps me. Sometimes I can do the odd non-guided with just some music or chimes, but 10 minutes is all you need with the breathing, and that'll help you. And thank you for listening to my slight rant today, but also I hope I have left you with a little pocket of joy. Look at that. I've just seen the time. This might be a 10-minute podcast, so maybe I've brought you 10 minutes of joy. Let me know what you think. What brings you joy? So thank you for listening to this podcast. It really brings me joy that people actually listen to the podcast. And please review, give me a bit of joy. That is something that can bring you joy, is giving to others. So I'm going to take all your testimonials, all your reviews, and all your likes. So thank you so much for listening today. We'll be back for the longer episode soon. Go find your pocket of joy. Thank you so much for listening to Bump to Business Owner. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Please do rate, review, follow, or subscribe wherever you're listening. It really helps us to connect with more mums and business owners. You can DM me on @BumpToBusinessOwner on Instagram, and I'll be back next week.